Hello, welcome to Lettering with Zuzu Cangelosi, our host.
I'm in charge.
She's in charge here, and I couldn't do it without her. She literally just helped triplets with homework, and she got her own homework done. I wouldn't know what to do without. Hello, Heather. Please tell Kinsey we love her so much. So today we're going to be lettering Psalm 125, verse 2, and it says, "As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people, both now and forevermore." And I feel like this is a great verse just to remind us that he will surround us in uncertain times. When we don't know what's going on, when we don't know what's coming next, he still surrounds us. And so Corey and I got the opportunity to go to Israel.
It didn't take me.
We didn't take all the kids. We left all the kids, and I feel like we might have burned some bridges because all of them were. It was a lot. There was a lot on, especially my mom, and so things are fine with my mom, but we're just not going to be going back to Israel anytime soon by ourselves. We have our special ice drink. Show them our ice drink. This is our favorite thing. We split one while we get to paint together. So we're going to paint the skyline of Jerusalem and the mountains behind it, and then our verse. So if you'll get your paper ready, let's get my camera back down. If I can, I think I'll figure this out eventually. One day when the quarantine's all over, I'm going to be a whiz at this thing. So I have my paper, and we're going to start by doing our skyline of Jerusalem. And by doing that, I'm just going to draw a straight line here, about a third of the way. Straight line. And essentially, I'm going to be doing lots of geometry. I've got a rectangle. I've got a rectangle over that, and then a semicircle on top of that. And then right here, I'm going to do a long little spout. I don't actually know what all of these buildings are called, even though we have been there, but we've only been there once, so I feel like I just tipped the iceberg. So right here, we're going to do a couple stairs going up. There is a building that does this, and then has a little tower on top with a triangle. Hey, are you laughing at this? You're laughing at all of my buildings, aren't you? We're going to bring this down. So I have stairs going up, rectangle, triangle, coming down. Then we're just going to do one giant, long, skinny rectangle. Then we're going to do, this is like the Temple Mount, the Wailing Wall. So a giant rectangle, and it's actually under Muslim control right now. And so this is the mosque on top of what should be the Holy of Holies. That's a Muslim temple. And then right here we're going to do a church. This is, I believe, the church that is, so we have a little triangle, bring it on down, bring it over. And then we're going to do a bigger triangle on top of that over. And we're going to, essentially, it's a symmetrical church. And I believe that this is the church outside of the Garden of Gethsemane. And then one final tower, two long parallel lines, then one line coming over, and then kind of a long semicircle, and then a little thing on top, a little doodad. That's a technical term. So this is kind of our rough skyline of Israel. Then behind Israel is surrounded by like the Mount of Olives. So I'm going to do just a mountain line right here. This is not the actual mountain line. This is just an artistic rendering of it. So it's not going to be perfect. That is perfect. Good job, Sissy. Okay. Now I'm going to come with my words, and I'm going to use blue since that is an Israel's color, blue and white.
Which brush do I use?
Right. Actually, go get one of those watercolor brushes or watercolor pencils. So if you wanted to use watercolor pencils for your lettering, I would recommend that. Or I'm going to use a tiny little brush right here. So we're going to start over here on my mountain range. And we're going to do as the mountains. I have to give out a shout out to Stacy Newell because she literally made hundreds of cards for people and has been hand delivering them, like taking hours in her car and driving like different cities nearby and delivering them to people. As the mountains. So right here, all I'm doing is my cursive. And if you would like some of the letterings that I use, some fonts to practice, feel free to just send me your email address, and I would be happy to send you some of those documents where I've done different fonts. So as the mountains, and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to thicken my downstroke for foligraphy. And bring some of those lines, I bring them around to make it look like my pen just stayed on the paper, which it obviously did not. Mountains. That's okay. Surround Jerusalem. So we got to do two big words right here. So surround. So don't take up too much space with them. Here, baby, I'll put my sketch right here. I have my little cheat sheet sketch right here that I do in the mornings when I'm doing my little devotional, so I can make sure and know what I'm going to say and what I'm going to paint. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants, if you can believe that or not.
Wait, is it USULEM?
Mm-hmm. I would highly recommend going to Israel. I felt so safe there. I was amazed at what I learned. The Bible became real. It was truly a trip of a lifetime.
Does that look okay? I didn't have enough room.
Yeah, that's fine. What?
I'm not doing very good.
You are doing good. I really don't know what I would do without Zuzu. That girl, she can tell you a tale, that's for sure.
The Lord surrounds his people.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, girl, you working ahead. I see you. Okay, so right here I've kind of messed up on my A. So I'm going to actually bring this around and make this, trying to fix that, but doesn't look so good. But once I get done with it, I doubt anybody will notice it. So just goes to show you it's okay if you make mistakes. We can hide them. So I'm thickening my downstroke. Okay. Now, because my hand needed to rest here to write that, now we can kind of color in our mountains. So I'm going to do, I always like to go to the yellows.
Oh.
I'm going to do a yellow on my mountains, kind of like the sun is setting. Whenever we first went into Jerusalem, the sun was setting, and I don't want to touch my buildings while I'm doing this. We're going to do a color wash on our sky as well. But when we first went into Jerusalem, they stopped before and just, they're so reverent. That was one thing that totally amazed me. The reverence that they give the name of the Lord, which he deserves. But I think a lot of times in Western culture, we just kind of make it very common. And he should be a friend, and he is closer than a brother. But I loved the reverence they gave the name of the Lord. And so now I'm gonna do grays for my building. You're totally fine. We're gonna do grays for my buildings just because it's kind of like the sun is setting behind them, and the idea is that we're not gonna be able to see everything, if that makes any sense. It's like a shadow, essentially, just a silhouette. So,
Are we
and
going to move on to the porch because Maddie and Elle are coming?
Oh, in a little bit. We have some friends that are going to drive by and say hello, and we're very excited about seeing people from the outside world. So if you wanted to do this in a different color, you totally could. That would not be a problem.
Or would it?
Or would it? Dun, dun, dun. You'll never know. I'll never tell you. It's a secret. Zuzu was being so sweet playing with her brothers on the trampoline before this. Not too many girls like her who's really kind to her siblings. Most of the time. I'll give you that. Most of the time. How's that? We all have our moments, don't we? Okay, so here's my buildings. Here's my verse. And
Wait, you didn't do all your verse.
I know, I'm going to finish it off down here. So I'm going to write most of this in block lettering, but my one word surrounds, it says, so the Lord surrounds his people. I want the word surrounds to stand out. So, so.
Yellow.
It's okay. That doesn't look greenish. Oh, for your buildings. So the Lord I hope y'all had a good weekend. We mostly ate. What else did we do, Zoo?
Yeah, no, we had a snow cone party.
That's right, we had a snow cone party. Thanks to Daddy. We own a snow cone trailer, and obviously it's not up and running right now, but he opened it up for our neighbors, and then we invited some friends to come by and drive through snow cones, and that was really fun.
And we did something else, but I can't remember. We went on a picnic.
We went on a picnic, which is where we take our baby chicks and we put them mostly in, what are those things called? The pouches. Fanny packs. You'd think I'd know that. I was born in the 80s. We put them in fanny packs. We put these baby chicks in fanny packs. Not me. I'm not a big chick holder. Like, I love my dog, but I'm not going to love on all the other animals. Any other animals? Yeah, pretty much. But I do love Lucky so much. So the Lord surrounds his people. But we took the chicks on a picnic and it was fun. No, that was my chair, I promise. Zuzu is over here accusing me of flatulence. How dare she? Surrounds. Yeah, it happens. And now they're here all the time to hear all the things. They know all my secrets. Okay, surrounds his people. And honestly, I've kind of run out of room here, but we're going to go for it. Well, we both did that, didn't we? People. Now, sometimes, like in times like these, when things get a little too close together, I will add a little dot to in between to kind of just separate the words and make it look like I meant to do that. So I didn't technically mean to do that. Yeah, good job. Okay. So now we're going to get our inch brush again. We're going to come back and we are going to, let's make sure we can see this. There we go.
Like this?
Yes, baby. That's good. Okay. Now we're going to come and I'm going to do kind of a dark blue on the bottom here, like a navy.
Not brown.
That's okay. I actually put a little brown in here. So I'm going to surround this, this flooring right here. And then I'm just going to fill it in with water. So it's kind of just washing it barely, trying to get it as close. Oh, that was something that happened. Our dryer broke. And so Corey is Mr. Fix-It. Oh, our car broke down this morning. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
We had to get our car towed. That was exciting.
No,
the starter, the starter wouldn't work.
We're going to get a new car.
We're probably going to get a new car,
which is excited.
Very exciting. But our dryer broke. Sounds like everything broke. I promise it's been a good day. But so our dryer broke and Corey got back there to fix it. And the last time he got back there to fix it, he somehow tore his meniscus. So I don't think it was, I don't know. It wasn't like that he was getting old. I think he injured it in football and that was like the last straw, was the tearing it. Okay, so now tearing it while working.
You done? Wait. Oh, we're not supposed to do that.
It's okay. We're going to cut that off anyway, because this right here, this is an 8x10. So we're cutting it off right here, so it's not the entire paper. Right, for the skyline, we're going to pretend the sun is going down. So that's why our mountains are yellow. I'm going to start with orange, and then I'm going to move to pink. So to do like a little sunset under the mountains. But I do think this verse is so comforting, just knowing that he's going to surround us in uncertain times when we don't know what's going to happen next, when we don't know when our dryer's going to break. But I thought it was funny because Judah remembered that he had hurt his knee last time he fixed the dryer, and Judah said, "Don't get back there and pop your knee." I was pretty impressed that little 6-year-old mind could remember that.
Mom forgot that Hope was 6 today.
I did. We were filling out something. I said she was 5. She said she was 5 too, actually, in my defense. But you're right. I need to learn how old my kids are. So now what I've done, I've just started to mix in the pink. And this is one time we do want it to bleed. We want it to bleed into here and kind of make us, make it look like that sun is setting skyline.
Totally.
Okay, and we're almost done. I'm going to take my little brush again, my teeny tiny brush, and I'm going to just outline my buildings. It doesn't even have to be perfect. You can just do it real quick, kind of make it look artsy. Let's see here.
Do you hear the kids upstairs?
Oh, yeah. I hear them every day. The kids never leave. Ooh, that looks really good, Sue.
Thank you.
Okay, with our temple mount up here. Another interesting fact about Israel, we went to the Wailing Wall, and while we were there, I noticed a few women on the women's side of the Wailing Wall with their children and teaching them the reverence. They never turn their back on the Wailing Wall when they leave. And so teaching them the reverence of like walking backwards, giving God your reverence. So there's a place where you go, and the Jewish people, they believe it's their most holy place. It's the closest they can get because they're not allowed to go up to the Temple Mount. So they go to the Wailing Wall, and while they're there, they just pray, and they actually stick little prayers into the wall. And I saw a few moms with their babies and with their kids and teaching them how to walk backwards, teaching them how to give God reverence. And anyway, that was probably one of the most significant moments I had while I was there. So I'm going over my mountains again with my little bit of black just to put a little bit of definition on them. And then I'm going to sign it at the bottom. No, baby, you don't have to if you don't want to. Sign it at the bottom. And then I am going to choose just to write the verse reference in one of the buildings. You do not have to do this. You can write it wherever you want, but I'm going to write Psalm 125 verse 2 right here in the building. So let's see here. I'm going to show them yours, okay, Zoo? Here's Zoo.
Wait.
You're phenomenal. Look at this beautiful girl. How's that ice drink?
Good.
Good. Can you tell them have a great day?
Have a great day, guys.